Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I'm Joe Gould. I'm here with Adam Winters. We got something different today. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman, the 1975 TV special based off the 1966 musical.
Oh, man.
I kind of liked it for a while. And I was trying to figure out what it was, though. I'm like, I think I like it, but I don't think I know what it is. And I don't think I ever quite figured it out.
Well, for my part, I can tell you pretty clearly what I like and don't like. I think what I don't like is every time Clark Kent and or Superman and or Lois Lane is on screen in a featured way. And everything that's not them, I kind of enjoy. With the gangsters, the singing and dancing gangsters, and Dr. Abner Sedgwick, who reminds me a lot of the old guy who played Mr. Woodman on Welcome Back, Kotter. And for a while, I thought it might be the same guy because he has very similar mannerisms. So I enjoy that, and I like Loretta Swift, Hot Lips Houlihan, or Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan, as Sydney something, who's the girl Friday. I don't know. She's a Daily Planet employee, but she also works for one of the employees whose name is Max, but it's not Maxwell Lord. It's Maxwell something. And apparently they thought he was important enough, the actor, to give him top billing when they introduced the cast.
Yeah, if you go to the Wikipedia page for Clark Kent, you can't click on the name and get a bio. So Superman is played by David Wilson. I don't know if he started anything else in his entire life. Yeah.
Sorry.
So the plot, I'm just going to read the plot off the Wikipedia page. It's about 3 sentences. The plot revolves around Superman's efforts to defeat Dr. Abner Sedgwick, a 10-time Nobel Prize losing scientist who seeks to revenge the scientific world's dismissal of his brilliance by attempting to destroy the world's symbol of good, Superman. Additionally, Superman comes into romantic conflict with Max Menchkin, a columnist for the Daily Planet newspaper, who resents Lois Lane's attraction to Superman, and later teamed up with Sedgwick to destroy Superman. It's a little bit brief of a synopsis, but it's pretty much there.
And Superman is the worst Superman that's ever been written, I think.
Yeah, I couldn't really find much commentary regarding this. Movie's not the right word.
Television special presentation.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically Saturday Night Live formatting. But
I would have liked this better if it were a parody, but this is all officially licensed, right? Everybody crossed their legal T's and dotted their I's.
Yeah, it's real. It's real. It feels like it should be something like it was produced by Mad Magazine.
I got a lot of Mad Magazine vibes. I got Saturday Night Live vibes when Sedgwick is trying to go psychoanalysis of Superman on the couch. But they hadn't released the Donner movie. That's what, 78? So this thing,
Yeah.
How in the world, if you're a kid, the Adam West Batman show, 66, it had appeal for kids and adults because kids could take it seriously. There's just enough of the drama. Adults could find it hilarious because they're playing the ridiculous straight. But I don't know who Superman the musical TV version is for anybody.
No, it's now I did have one scene certainly inspired by Batman 66 towards the end.
The finale, the final chapter 16 or whatever it is, Superman triumphant.
Yeah. So I watched the middle of this at 1.25 speed because I figured it wasn't going to hurt. So I got to that final scene, and I'd kind of forgotten to put it back. So I watched it 1.25 and 1 speed, just regular speed, that fight scene. Much better at 1.25 speed. There's actually movement. It looks like they're trying to go fast. Whereas in the actual version, they're casually walking around, punching people, making the sound effects when they didn't want to put the words on.
Is that the worst part of the movie, the dramatic finale?
No.
The production.
The worst part of the movie is probably the set.
Oh.
I mean, so they filmed this over 3 days. I believe they made the entire set in 3 days with magic markers. I kind of think they were going for make it look like a comic book, hand drawn kind of thing. But it just looks cheap. They did
that with the transition borders too.
Yeah, which is why I'm thinking it may have been the vibe they were going for. And I don't know how the Broadway show looked visually.
I did look up something. didn't find any performances of actual Broadway, but there were somewhat more characters in the Broadway version, which makes me think the TV version got trimmed a bit, either in subplots, maybe a few scenes or songs.
It
something.
did. It had some songs trimmed. Let me see if I can find
Probably
those
for the
notes.
better.
Yeah. So it aired on February 21st, 1975. The network was so excited to show this that they gave it the 11:30 p.m. time slot.
Well, good. Everybody who worked and went to school was probably asleep then.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like a terrible time slot, 11:30 p.m. Eastern time in February.
I would imagine that Superman has a lot of fans on the East Coast.
So this thing would not have ended until about 1 a.m. in the morning?
That's without commercials. It probably was 1:30 to 2 o'clock.
Oh, gosh.
Because it's an hour and a half. So, I mean, if there's any commercials at all, you're talking a minimum 2 hours.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so a few things were trimmed. The show was significantly shortened, so I'm not sure how long the Broadway show runs. The script was changed. The ethnicity of the evildoers was changed.
The gangsters?
Yeah, there were Chinese acrobats in the musical.
I might be interested to see that.
And then their songs, it's like they dropped 4 of them. Doing Good, It's Super Nice, So Long, Big Guy, and We Don't Matter at All. So, yeah. I guess they did have a new number. It's a Great Country was added to it.
Oh, I think I like... Is that the one the gangsters sing?
I believe so.
The American gangsters, the Mafia Godfather knockoffs. That's what they are. I like that.
I like that song, and it works for the scene. So if you're going to change it from Chinese acrobats to Mafia, then, it works. I would imagine one of the songs that got cut were from the Chinese acrobats.
And they mentioned Marlon Brando, who kind of bridges the gap between the Godfather and Superman. Yeah.
Yeah. Because that was not out yet. I looked up Lois Lane, who was played by Leslie Ann Warren, and she did have a pretty strong career overall, lots of stuff. Nothing I necessarily heard of. But I guess she was in the Mission Impossible TV show, too.
Oh, good, yeah.
And she was a finalist for Lois Lane in the movie. Didn't get it, obviously.
Fascinating. Can you imagine if she would have gone from this to Superman 78? Huh.
I wonder if this cost her the role or if it helped her.
I can't say it helped her.
I think her and Sydney and Max are all pretty decent.
Well, Sydney's great because Sydney has some layers to her. You're not really sure how she's going to respond to any given thing, but Lois is just... Have you watched the 1980s movie version of Little Shop of Horrors with Rick Moranis as the shopkeeper and Audrey... forget who played her in the movie. Ellen Gerstle, something like that.
I saw it a long, long time ago. I was probably in my teens, so I can't recall anything.
I only bring it up because what if Rick Moranis was cast as Clark Kent Superman and Audrey from the movie version was cast as Lois Lane, and they told him, play these parts just like you did the Little Shop of Horrors characters. That's how this goes for me, and that's not a compliment.
Yeah. So there's only, there's only 7 characters in this show. We've talked about Max Menken. Him and Clark and Lois are all reporters at the planet. Sydney does something at the planet. Mostly, I think, helps Max and dates Max at the same time. You have, I'm going to say, there's actually more than 7 characters because you have all the mobsters, but we'll just call Father Ling the mobster man.
Okay.
And then you have Sedgwick, Dr. Abner Sedgwick, who I just called the mad scientist the entire time. And he's the one we're talking about. He hasn't won a Nobel Peace Prize, so he wants to ruin Superman. Max wants to ruin Superman because Lois is infatuated with Superman, and he's infatuated with Lois.
But not as much as himself, though.
No, not as much as himself.
He even says that later in the movie. I only sometimes think about Lois, but...
Yeah, and then you have Perry White occasionally makes an appearance to yell at people.
What a useless part for this musical.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
He moves the scenes along. If someone has to get off screen for some reason, he's the instrument to get them into an office.
Yeah.
And then you have Clark Kent, who Lois does not see repeatedly.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. So she keeps forgetting that he's in the room because she's infatuated with Superman, even though she knows she should not be infatuated with Superman because she cannot have him.
They have a big hug scene that opens from a transition, and she still forgot Clark was in the room, even though the scene opens was her hugging him.
Yeah. And then
I don't
Sydney
know.
gets tired of Max, so she decides she wants to be with Clark. Then she's with Clark, off screen, not very long. They realize they're not made for each other. But it gives Clark confidence. And then Lois sees Clark and loves Clark. And it's all about Clark. And then she meets Superman again, helps him, and goes back to the status quo of not being able to see Clark. And that took about 25 minutes.
Mm.
And then at some point, Superman has an identity crisis.
Kind of starts with one, I think.
Yeah. And we discover that his pants are actually it's like a onesie. There's no footholes. He's just got
I don't
blue
know
feet.
what he does with his boots, because he does have boots, but not under his shoes.
Yeah. But that was probably, I don't know. It's just, this show is all over the place.
It's a production, Joe. Production. That's what it is.
So see here. It started in Broadway in March of 1966.
Wow, you know what? This is probably the reason the cartoon show exists. New Adventures of Superman. Probably why.
So the Broadway actually got pretty good reviews, but it did not catch on with fans. And it closed after 129 performances. At the time, it was considered the biggest Broadway flop of all time.
Until Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark arrived. Still haven't seen that. They need to do a TV special version of Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. Somebody died on that one, right? At least they got seriously injured and a stunt gone wrong on stage.
That's why you shouldn't fly at Broadway. Not built for it.
Or swing. That's right.
But yeah, this is it's on YouTube. I found one version of it. So if it ever gets taken down, I don't think this will have any form of existence at that point.
Rip it to hard drive, man. It's got to be on Internet Archive somewhere, most likely.
Probably. So actually, my favorite stuff when I was watching this was the commercials that came on after the show was over.
Which had nothing to do with the ABC presentation.
Oh, no. This was
They were just
like a
compiled
reward.
from up through the late 80s, I think. All the Superman commercials.
Yeah. So check out It's a Bird, It's a Plane, It's Superman. And when you get tired of watching it, fast forward to the end and watch the commercials.
That one of the particular numbers in the are we back on Superman the musical yet?
I believe so. Yeah.
So
my song list.
Sydney, when she feels like, number one, a prototype of two Superman characters. Miss Teschmacher, somehow, who I don't know existed before the movie, but she feels like a test run of Eve Teschmacher. And then because she is a Daily Planet staff member and not necessarily a scheming accessory to evil, I guess Cat Grant, she's kind of got a little bit of Sing for Clark. And she does the song "You've Got Possibilities," and it's probably the raunchiest, if that's even fair for this production. Just some of the dance moves she gets Clark to do with her. That song, I think, got a little bit of life after this. It may have had success beyond the musical.
Yeah, apparently it was recorded by Peggy Lee in '66. So I guess it came out with the musical. I guess it's at a recent claim to fame, recent as in 20 years ago. I guess it was on a TV commercial for Pillsbury Grand Biscuits.
Huh. I don't recall it. Go look that up.
I need to go look that up now. Yeah. Now, some of these songs are pretty good. While I'm thinking about it, I'm not really sure why they didn't use real characters. Like, why was she not Cat? Why was the mad scientist not Lex Luthor?
That's the big question. How do you do a Superman Broadway musical with a mad scientist and not use Lex Luthor? How do you do that?
I like him, so I don't think he has to look like Lex. I don't think he has to shave his head or anything.
Lex has had hair before. He could be older or younger. Sure. Yeah. Taller or shorter. Doesn't matter to me.
And then there's no Jimmy Olsen, which is kind of weird.
I felt like there was a younger guy who kept getting kicked out of Perry White's office. And I don't recall if his name ever came up.
Okay. Yeah, you're probably right. But there's 11 chapters in the performance, and I want to say every chapter has one song. There might be a couple that have two, but I think that's pretty much how it works.
And they're about 7 minutes each, with a little cliffhanger opening with comic book panel style.
Yeah. What'd you think of the music?
Again, if it was a Clark Kent or Lois Lane sing, absolutely hated it. But if Sedgwick was on screen, or the Gangsters, or Loretta Swift, It's pretty good.
I think my favorite song was Sydney's song to Max, "Oh, Do You Love You?" It was clever. It was very clever.
You thought she was setting it up for her unrequited romance for him, but no, she's just giving him the business, so to speak.
Yeah, that one was good.
No, Loretta's great. I love Loretta Swift. She died maybe this year. I don't recall. It was fairly recent.
Okay. Some of the songs towards the end, the quality of the video is poor enough that I had a hard time following.
Yeah.
Like they had a blur effect on one of the songs.
Yeah, I thought it was intentional.
Well, I think it was because it was already blurry because of the format. It's like, there's really nothing left. So on a score of 1 to 5, just for the music, what would you give it?
Oh, it's hit or miss, but it simultaneously gives us some of the worst moments of the film and the best, but I give it 3. There's nothing spectacular here, but I give it 3 of something. 3 revenges out of 5. I don't know. 3 Swedens out of 5. Nobel Prizes. 3 Nobel Prizes out of 5.
Okay, I could support that. It's really not that bad. I would like to hear the ones they cut out. I need to go see if I can find a version with the Chinese acrobats.
On the music, do you recall anything about the creative people behind music composition, lyric composition, and screenplay or stage play drafters?
I don't call anything. Let me see. So the lyrics are by Lee Adams.
Well, he's a Hall of Famer. He's a songwriter Hall of Famer.
Okay.
He co-wrote "Those Were the Days" for the All in the Family theme song.
Okay. And I should say this is for the 66 musical. I didn't see much about how they converted it in terms of who gets credit at that point. But the actual musical, yeah. The lyrics were by Lee Adams. The composition was Charles Strauss. And the book, which I assume is the script, was David Newman and Robert Benton.
Yeah, Wikipedia says book, but I think that's a bad choice.
I don't know what they call it in real life.
Okay, shockingly, of all those guys you just listed, 2 of them died this year, and one of them is still alive at age 100. Lee Adams, at the time of this recording, 100 years old. Charles Strauss died in May, and let's see, Robert Benton died in May. So this is shaping up to be something of a tribute to the creative minds behind the Superman musical.
Wow. That's crazy.
And Loretta Swift, right? Let me see when she died here. Oh yeah, she died in May 30th. Year.
Wow.
May. It was claiming everybody. The months of May.
I
know.
That's
what
nuts.
Odds?
That is crazy. And who knows about David Wilson, because he doesn't have credit for anything. Isn't that sad? You're Superman and you don't get a link.
This is the one Superman nobody wants to talk about. Kirk Allen probably doesn't get a whole lot of talk, but at least he came back for Superman, so he had that going for him.
People haven't seen the serials, but they've heard that they exist, and they're celebrated that they exist, even if they don't want to take the time to watch them. This exists, but the world is doing its best to delete it from history.
I don't think it ought to be deleted from history. No, I don't believe that. I think it ought to be learned from somehow. I think it ought to be witnessed, preserved, but not necessarily respected. I don't think I can go that far.
So I bought the record for the musical.
Oh, wow.
I'm interested in listening. It came in today. That's what I was trying to show you before we recorded.
Recording? Yeah.
And it actually wasn't that expensive. I think it was about $12.
Okay, if you got the means to play it, go ahead.
I got a record player.
Okay.
Records sell more than CDs now.
I know. It's funny how that goes. I think DVDs sell better than Blu-rays and 4K discs.
It's because they're cheaper.
They play on a lot more too. You can get a DVD player a lot easier than the other stuff. Attach it to your computer and all that. But yeah, okay.
So I'm actually kind of interested in listening to that and see how it compares. Like I said, I came today, so I didn't get a chance to play with it.
We should definitely do a follow-up where you can give an input. Maybe it has the Chinese gangsters or the mob.
It should.
It should. Yakuzas or whatever they are.
So this movie takes a lot of Superman tropes and just runs all over them. What did you think of Superman coming to Earth? I think that's chapter 1.
So I will confess, the Kent household is entertaining to me. the old Ma and Pa Kent, who are very briefly on screen, but nevertheless do amuse me.
They amused me in a similar way to the parents in the new Superman movie.
They lean hard into the ruleisms as hard as they can.
What did you think of his spaceship?
I don't remember the spaceship.
It looked like toothpaste. It looked like a tube of toothpaste, and it said contents, one innocent babe.
So you kind of wonder what Pa Kent was thinking when he opened it up. Is that the idea there? Uh-huh. And Superman is under the impression he was rejected by his home planet, because he doesn't know any more than that. Like, he was unwanted baby.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in the comics and all the movies, pretty much, he's really, his character is shaped by his relationship to his parents, and then they quickly die in this one, so he's not. Maybe that's why he's an idiot.
Yeah.
I can't decide what Superman's personality is in this movie. They lean into the identity crisis.
He's Rick Moranis before Rick Moranis isms was a thing. Before that would have been Jerry Lewis, probably the closest idea there.
Yeah, it's like he's not a bad guy. He wants people to like him. He's not very interesting.
No, as either Clark or Superman.
It's almost like he just wandered into superpowers. I don't know. It's like if a bum on the street got superpowers, but he was a good bum, not a bad bum. Man.
You feel like his IQ is what? I don't know what a low IQ is. I don't want to say he's in a certain status that would give him special needs, but he's not far above it either.
He's a simple guy.
Yeah,
he's a sweet boy.
He grew up on the farming with not much book learning, most likely.
So what'd you think of the final scene where he saves Lois and Max?
All right, I'll say something about that. So Dr. Sedgwick, brilliant scientist that he is, puts Lois in a death trap, which is a regular chair with, quote, 10 pounds of dynamite strapped to it, which I thought was designed so that Superman couldn't just, I don't know, pull the dynamite off or pick her up. Like if you move the chair, it blows. And then he turns on his almost lover, former partner, Max, and he puts Max in a chair and puts his feet on a block of ice, and his chair is wired to Lois's chair, and if he sneezes or anything comparable to that, it'll cause the dynamite to go off. But Dr. Sedgwick was betrayed by his own henchmen, the gangsters, and they put him on a chair. I don't remember what they did to it, because I didn't think they were that smart. But Superman busts in, does his fight. I'm wondering, because it had happened a few chapters earlier, Dr. Sedgwick had fed a bunch of information into his computer, massive computer room, and it printed out that it was pretty confident a Daily Planet reporter was Superman. And it figured the most likely candidate was Max. But because everybody forgets about Clark Kent, the computer forgot to, and said, oh yeah, let me factor Clark Kent in. Yeah, he's Superman, actually. So now you got both of the bad guys know the identity, and Sedgwick goes to Clark Kent's apartment, and IDs him as Superman, and Clark is just, oh golly, you gots me. And Sedgwick even convinces him to put his Superman costume on while he psychoanalyzes him. And he does that. So now you got both of the bad guys aware of Superman's secret identity. Lois Lane doesn't know it. And you're thinking, how are they going to wrap this up when you get to the finale? And the two major options are going to be death or amnesia. And I thought they went with death, but they didn't.
No. So we should also say when he psychoanalyzed him, he broke him. And he didn't know what to think anymore. And then he went to commit suicide, Superman, and tied an anchor to him, jumped off a bridge. Superman jumped off a bridge to kill himself, but he was unsuccessful because he'd forgotten that he has super lungs.
I think I take back what I said about he's above a certain threshold. Nah, I can't say that for sure anymore.
But he happens upon two, not bums, but two hippie type characters.
They were at the rally earlier. They're supposed to be little kids, but they're definitely full-grown men.
Yeah.
Joe and Jerry.
And then he says, I'm a freak. And they say, there's nothing wrong with being a freak. Like Abe Lincoln or Michelangelo. You just got to freak in the right direction.
Are you gonna quote how freaky Lincoln was?
I didn't write it down.
Quote. Setting the brothers free in the 1800s was the freakiest thing around. I'm a little bit paraphrasing that.
Yeah, but that solves his identity crisis.
You're aware of the joke about Joe and Jerry, aren't you? You caught that. Siegel and Schuster.
I missed it.
That's why Superman says... That's why they have the earlier scene at the rally, because everybody has the S, because it was drawn by Joe and Jerry, and there would be no Superman without you two. And,
I missed quite a bit then.
If you get in the depths of it, they were both the Jewish immigrants looking for a hero, and that you could tie that into the freak language there.
Yeah, I think I missed that those were the same two people. I think that's why I lost.
That was the only thing clever about this thing. Okay, glad I got that for you.
Oh, well,
Joe and Jerry.
Part of that is I think I saw the first scene a couple days ago, and I saw that scene today.
What happens when you watch it on 1 point whatever speed, you lazy generation?
I needed to finish. So anyways, Superman's identity crisis is solved. He flies off. He uses X-ray vision on Lois for the second time.
Oh, okay. That was before the famous scene in the movie where they make an awkward point of it about Superman can see both what color underwear she's wearing and if her lungs are damaged by nicotine. Okay, yeah, that was interesting. I give it credit. That may have been the first time that had been done.
It seems like it shouldn't have been the first time that was used as a joke, but
yeah.
But anyways, he identity crisis solved, goes back to save the day, breaks through the wall, beats everybody up like Batman 66, bunch of zonks and bangs and crunches, etc.
Oddly, the music isn't as good for being a musical. The Batman 66 background music is still much better for that kind of
They should have used that. I'm not sure who had the rights to it, but they should have just used that.
Oh, yeah.
So he saves Lois. He gives Max a sip of a hottie toddy, which earlier he says he would not drink because it gives him hiccups.
Do you think Superman knew what he was doing? Or is he just that dumb?
I don't think so.
When I thought they were going with the death resolution to wrap up the whole secret identity thing. And I said, wow, Superman is complicit in this.
Yeah, I think he just gave him something to drink. I assume he was going to come back for them. But he takes Lois and he flies away. And then Max gets the hiccups, which has the same effect as sneezing. And the TNT blows up the warehouse, or wherever room they're in. And we assume they're dead.
They dead. Nope.
Superman catches them on their way down.
We didn't show it. He says he's going to do it. He says he's going to catch him on the way down. We get a very terrible shot of him flying with Lois that is basically them laying on a table in a green screen. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
It's worse than anything in Batman 66, any kind of illusion. Like, you think about the comical Batman and Robin climbing the side of the building, this is worse than... That's funny, at least, but this is bad.
But all is well. Max is a good guy now. He got partial amnesia, and he forgot his badness and Superman's identity. Same thing with Sedgwick, who's now an editor, science editor for the planet.
Wait, who killed Perry White? Get that?
Well, the science editor.
Oh, the science editor. No, Sedgwick is a science editor. What's Max do?
We never... I don't know. He writes stories. Tells stories.
But if he doesn't hate Superman anymore...
Yeah, I don't know what he's writing about. And then Lois is in love with Superman again, and no longer sees Clark. And then you get a new story with Perry White coming in. He says a giant tidal wave is heading for Metropolis. And they all say, this looks like a job for Superman. End credits, and we get the cool commercials.
You know, when the Superman actor, he tries to do the Bud Collyer anytime he says this is a job for Superman to lower his voice. And Alan did that too, but this guy's the worst at it, trying to pull off the Superman voice. Because Superman's a doofus. Yeah, he's just a doofus at every... Which, it's not a bad thing, necessarily, if your main character is a doofus, because I love the Naked Gun movies. I'm going to go try to see it this week with Liam Neeson. But this is the wrong kind of doofus. It just didn't write for whatever this is.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this too before we give it a rating. This could have been good.
Oh yeah, it could have.
And
really
it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me if I saw the Broadway if I actually liked it. Assuming that they had a real set. Like it wouldn't shock me. This is really close to being enjoyable.
I'd be interested to see a decent quality school production or something like this. Yeah, I'd be up for it.
Yeah, and if this had been an ongoing serial of sorts on Saturday Night Live or Mad TV, I'd enjoy it. Yeah, I'd love it, actually. It'd be great.
As parody, it's great, along a serialized parody. It's all right.
But it's not a parody. I don't think.
No, it's official.
Maybe it is.
It's legit.
It's official something. But I mean, I don't even know if they're... Are they trying to make fun of themselves? Like, I don't know. I mean, there's definitely jokes that they're making, but...
So we always talk about, when we say the 1989 Tim Burton Batman movie, it had to somehow bring back mainstream culture respectability to the darkness of Batman. And I wonder if Donner felt like he was doing the same thing with his movie in 78. Even though it's not a dark movie, it at least has to bring back some kind of gravitas after whoever had sat through this. I'm guessing it only aired once, so maybe it didn't leave a big mark on pop culture.
Yeah, it's never had a release. It came on initially at 11:30 p.m. I have no idea.
Nobody would have been able to tape any publicity. In 75, right? Yeah,
no taping, no internet.
Somebody recorded it. I mean, but
probably one person.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to say who even knew that this TV special existed. I can see DC greenlighting this. I can't see them liking it and wanting to promote it. They may have given the mandate for the 11:30 time slot. This is no unreleased Fantastic Four movie. Let's put it that way. There's no charm here.
I do think DC Comics was trying a little bit harder by the late 70s to be a bit more Marvel style, as in some of the craziness that you might have seen in the 60s, they were trying to move away from that. Swamp Thing was, they'd signed, I guess, Jack Kirby to work on the stuff, and Swamp Thing was coming up in the late 70s, and I don't know if Neil Adams was doing Batman just yet, but they had a little bit more dignity in their product by this time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Marvel had the parody comics. They make fun of DC, too, in their parody comics. You had What the...
Yeah.
I'm not sure when that came out. That may have been later on, but they had things
Marvel,
like that.
What If.
One-shot specials.
That's different, though, yeah.
Yeah. And you had Peter Porker. You had stuff like that.
Love Porker.
Yeah. All right. So how are we going to rate this thing?
I still like the Nobel Prizes. Okay. He does get... The gangsters award him a Nobel Prize at the end. I don't remember what for, right when they're trying to kill him off and betray him.
And he believes them, too. He's eating it up.
Yeah, he's really happy about that Nobel Prize. Before he loses his memory, he at least got some prize.
He got recognized. He was seen.
So what's the opposite of a Nobel Prize? Would it be a non-noble? What's the opposite of noble? Unnoble?
What's the prize they give for the most ridiculous death each year? What is that called?
Well, the Darwin Award, right?
Yeah. How about Darwin Awards?
Nobel Darwin Awards. Yeah, sure.
Nobel Darwins. There we go.
Yeah, sure. Do you want me to go first? When it comes to the thumbs up or thumbs down, it gets a thumbs down. But I think people should check this out, because I don't know if you're always going to be able to have ready access to it. But it's not 3. It's... Okay, I'll tell you what. Instead of a 5-tier system, we'll put it a 4-tier system, and we'll call it a 2 out of 4 Darwin Nobel Prizes. That's probably too generous, but it gets a 2 out of 4.5, maybe. just something that doesn't make sense. That's what I'm trying to go for here. 2 out of 4.5 Darwin Prizes.
I almost feel like I should just forget to rate it, and I should treat it like ABC did. Like we made it, and we don't want to admit to it. So I think I'm just going to forget to rate it. I would encourage people to check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you said, it may not be around forever. It's definitely not going to get in better shape. Check it out. Don't feel bad about making it 1.25 speed. It actually makes it a little more exciting because people are moving.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 of the actors are older, so they're not exactly running around the stage on their dance things. Though they do jump around. But
they frolic.
It's almost enjoyable. Maybe that's the best way to say it.
It is almost. Yes, it is.
Because you do enjoy moments, but there's a lot of moments in the middle that you're not enjoying, and they take a while to get through. So, yeah. So next week, I think we're doing Hollywoodland, so I'm looking forward to that.
I hope so. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody. Look up.
Bye-bye.